was not to be found.
Then what were you doing in Prague trying to heal the sick?
I had been observing the Foundation for a time and determined that first contact would be an acceptable risk.
Why? Isn't what you're doing with us direct action?
A hidden organization separated from the majority of mankind, still skeptical of my powers despite first-hand proof. Speaking through you would be akin to mere advice, whispers, and ripples across the fabric of mankind's development.
We're a way for you to cheat the system. A little lowbrow for a god, don't you think?
I do what is necessary.
Uh-huh.
The people I healed in Prague were a test of my abilities, drawing your gaze towards me.
Gave us quite the chase tracking you down through the city. Those tapes of you popping up all over the place still crack me up.
That rooftop one still gets me.
Right? And the agent that looks all duh.
Yeah.
Are my demonstrations amusing to you?
Yep.
No, your tricks are impressive, but that's all they are. Tricks. You move things around, teleport, refurnish a room with decor that's so 12th century BC. But where's the big stuff?
Big stuff?
Pause.
Well,
Pause.
you threatened us with total annihilation a couple minutes ago, but can you do the same for yourself? Can God cancel himself out?
Yes.
Can you create something or someone more powerful than you?
It is possible. But for what purpose would I deem such an act necessary?
Consider it a lesson in the nature of balance. You're sitting on the top of the food chain, which is something I've only considered accurate to 682. Don't you think that perhaps that sort of position clouds your judgment a little?
No.
So certain. Then why don't you make a stone appear on this table? Something that you can never pick up.
But why?
Humility. Something to clue you into what an even playing field is.
I have no use for...
Oh, for crying out.
Your use is exactly the point. We have to deal with creatures that are far more powerful than us on a daily basis, yet you won't bother to lift a finger to help us out. What's the use of free will if we're doomed to die anyway? That's the point. That is the reason. Because maybe the only thing that'll convince you is to feel the same fear we do.
And what fear is that?
The fear of not being strong enough to overcome the impossible. Will you try it, or is the outcome something you're not willing to face?
I have nothing to prove. Humanity elected pain, suffering, and fear when they disobeyed my one rule. I have broken no such bargain.
Of course. Only God sets the rules for God. So can you narrow down just how far your omniscience extends?
The length of my powers is beyond your comprehension.
Yeah, you guys really love that line. Look, I don't just sit on my ass and pull a Larry King in these interviews, you know. I've done my research. Studied spiritualism, philosophy, astrology, numerology, cultism, cosmology, physics, and metaphysics. I've read tons of theology and religious texts. The Bible, the Talmud, the Quran, Tao Te Ching, Kojiki, everything from the Book of Shadows to the Tipitaka. So yeah, don't think we're quite as dense as we look.
Don't look at me. I actually am as dense as I look.
Then I shall attempt as best as possible. I filter through every corner of creation. My influence is spread across every world, throughout nature, within the very atoms that make up your physical beings. Any lack thereof is dictated by my will, and my will alone.
What benefit does seeing an eighth of humanity do a number 2 at the same time give you?
There are things that I allow individuals to maintain in private, where my presence is not required. My sight does not need to be set everywhere at once, merely where I choose it to be.
So your own private security monitoring system, potentially anywhere at any time, all at your discretion.
In your terms, yes.
In my terms, yes. That's a lot of privacy you've invaded. You ever tune into a channel you probably should have left closed?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean. All life is a part of my family.
Even parents give their kids some space to grow. They know when it's best not to be there as much as they know when they're needed. But we've all gotten bored. You ever get bored, God?
No.
No? Never took a peek into the lives of someone and watched them have a little private time?
I don't want to hear about this much.
I agree.
Oh, so you have looked in on someone you shouldn't have.
That was not what I meant.
Sure it wasn't.
Watch. Move on.
Now we know how your sight works in terms of space, but what about on a temporal level? Are you only able to view the present, or can you also see the past and predict the future?
In a sense. In reality, I've never experienced your concept of time. Such a linear thing, very set in its way. There is a fragile, infinitesimal degree. In each strand is as unbreakable as the strongest element. But for me, time must be a location rather than a concept. A room with many doors to many places beyond. I can visit them all simultaneously and never have left.
I'd ask if that were overwhelming, but given you've done this all your life, do I call it life?
I haven't much use for a word.
Existence? Presence?
Eternal?
Latin?
Old English, it's correct.
Alrighty then. You've done this for your eterne, viewing everything that exists, does, has, or will simultaneously. From your metaphor, I assume you also mean alternative timelines that result in parallel universes, or what some refer to as the omniverse. Do you exist there too?
Indubitably.
That's a lot to manage. Did you start with just one at first?
Also important. Was it ours?
I cannot recall, although I believe it hardly matters at this point. A potential side effect of free will being implemented in your design. To allow the luxury of choice on such a monumental scale require the consequences of every potential outcome take manifestation.
You mean to tell me that if I decide to drink regular or decaf in the morning, almond or soy, sugar or bitter, each of those results in a new universe being born?
Precisely.
But there must be beyond numbers of them. One person alone.
I begin to understand. Although many of these universes have died out, or their potential squandered by wars and disease that have ravaged all life. Once, two universes re-emerged since, by sheer coincidence, their alternating paths resulted in a single moment where they overlapped once more.
Then what?
Choice. Division.
Mitosis.
In a sense, the life cycle of the smallest and simplest organisms do somewhat mirror the life cycle of my creation.
That's poetic.
The whole eternity must become quite boring. The circle of life constantly repeating.
My mental level of that is content. All things considered, and I mean that absolutely, it does feel as though my consistent presence amongst my creations is more a form of habit and necessity than it is out of interest.
Maybe a change of view would shake things up. Let's get hypothetical. What would you do if you woke up one day...
I don't sleep.
Same. What would you do if you suddenly found yourself powerless?
Human.
Sure.
On a physical level, I would have limited senses at my disposal, numbing into the ebb and flow of existence. At the same time, what few I retain would be substantially more sensitive to even the slightest stimuli. But on an emotional level, I would know that residing in this corporeal form would only be temporary. It would serve no purpose.
But suppose you didn't. Suppose that for as long as your human life lasted, you would never even know you were God, or that you would return to godhood once you had died. Imagine a 343 with the same restraints and uncertainties that plague humanity. What would you say to that?
Why?
So you can understand what it's like to be human.
I understand humanity. I created you.
Yes, you understand us. You made us. You study us. You give us what we have. But the barrier still exists. Everything you programmed a human being to be, but you still don't know what it's like to be one. At the end of the day, we're two separate entities.
I would have to consider the merit of such action.